G'day punters, welcome to Victims of the Punt. We're talking Kembla Grange. It's going to be the new normal here in COVID era New South Wales, and of course it's a pleasure to welcome Mark Shean and Mark Rhoden to help me preview this race meeting. We'll do races 2 and then the quaddy legs. But Mark Shean, I'll start with you. Are you able to just run us over what you look for when you're doing a Kembla Grange meeting and what you might expect with a track pattern?
Well, Kembla can be affected by wind just in the area that is in an open sort of plain area. So hopefully we won't get that tomorrow, but there can be a lot of wind bias there, so it does affect running detail. But generally the track plays a little bit away from the inside if it is a little bit rain affected. But we'll just have to watch a couple of races tomorrow. I think it should be okay with the rail out of 3 metres, I think.
All right, sounds good. Mark Rhoden, is there any form factors that you look for when doing a card at Kembla?
No, I mean, it's a big spacious track. So I just noticed in this rail position at the last 3 meetings on dry, not many leaders won. Runners on got their chance. But as Mark said, that can come down to wind, and it looks like there won't be too much wind tomorrow. So not going in with any huge preconceptions at this stage.
Okay, well, let's start with race 2, which is at special request by one R. Scurry. All-time legend is favourite, best available at the moment, $2.80. Big Parade is $3.20. Mamaragan, $5.50. Then you've got Zakat and Stolen Jade at $10 each. Broken Arrows at $12. Mark Shean, do you have any thoughts here in race 2 to start the card?
Well, I'm just filling in the numbers here after last week, after Rhoden he's just ironed them right out last week, the bookies. Look, I think it'll get down to how much work Big Parade has to do early here. I don't know if Barrier 1 is actually an ideal draw for him. He can be a little bit tardy, so he might have to be driven up to lead. Mamaraga's been gelded, and he was a fierce goer. So whether they've got him to settle, if these two go out hard, might just give All-Time Legend the perfect sit behind them in third spot. And I think he would need that to win, though. I think he'll be better going to 1,200 metres. And I thought Broken Arrows was a rough chance at the price, considering the fact that they'll go fast. So I got 2 from 7 myself.
Okay, Mark Rhoden, what are you doing with this favourite price-wise?
No, I think he's too short, to be perfectly honest. He's a bit of a bookie's horse throughout his career. He's had some bad luck in some of those runs, to be honest. But I thought, even though 1100 is probably short of his best trip, once he jumped on speed last time, I thought he was more than entitled to win that. Chat's a nice horse that ran him down, but I thought he had every possible there. I'm not falling over myself to be on him tomorrow. I'm sure that's not going to sway Rob. He's in love with the horse, and he's going to go down with the ship again, I think. Big Parade's a pretty quick horse. If he steps and can get a length or two clear, I am worried that All-Time Legend's just going to have that perfect cold drop on him and get his chance. But I have to have Big Parade ahead of him. He's got some great figures when things pan out well for him. He's a very fast horse, at his best. So if he does get that scenario, I would have him favourite. So as he's not favourite, I think I'll have to be on him. Yeah. Don't know what to do with Mamaragan. I can't get it as short as the market. I know it's been gelded, and Nashon probably set for a first up tilt here, but I think it's probably taking a bit too much percentage as well. Broken Arrows, if the speed is red hot, will certainly be getting home. Kembla should suit him. Stolen Jade won at the big meeting here in the spring too, so could run a race if it finds its best, but I'm with Big Parade.
Okay, very good. Well, let's head off to the quaddy legs. We'll start with race 7, and it's an open handicap over 1,400 metres. Frosty Rocks is favourite, best available is $3.60. Order Again and Oscar Zulu, $5.50 each. Gulwar is $6.50. True Detective, $7. And Cepheus, I'm sure I'm butchering that. Mark Rhoden, you can possibly help me out there. $10. Mark Shean, do you have any thoughts here to start the quaddy?
I couldn't be on Frosty Rocks at the price. Thought he got a very soft lead first up. Look, they did sprint home in good figures, but that was because they went so slow early. I couldn't really have him there second up, dry track at the price. I think the fact that Oscar Zulu's had the month off and freshened up, on some old figures, I would certainly have him in the mix. And I thought Gulwar was a good run there first up over an unsuitable trip. So that's the way I'm looking at it. I think Oscar Zulu Parade's okay. I'm definitely going to be on him from 2 and 1. So 9-2-1, betting around the favourite.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, any thoughts here in race 7?
Yeah, I tend to agree about Frosty Rocks. I don't have him favourite. I think he's far too short. There'll probably be a little competition for the lead as well as all those other factors that Mark mentioned with Man of Peace there, who likes to race on speed as well. I've ended up with Gulwar on top, probably just about backable at around $6, $6.50. From Oscar Zulu, the one Mark likes. They're my two, 2 from 9. I've got Frosty Rocks third pick in my market, but I've got it around $7, so, you know, double its market price, so not entertaining it. And then Order Again, who I think should be suited by Kembla as well. I thought it was a pretty even race. I was surprised there was such a pronounced favourite in Frosty Rocks, to be honest. Not a race I'm looking to tear apart, but maybe Gulwar and save Oscar Zulu.
Okay. So that's the spring preview. Let's go to race 8, which is the up-and-coming stakes. Group 3 for the 3-year-olds over 1,300 metres. Tiger of Malay is favourite, $2.60 from Concocted at $7. Subterranean and Coast Watch at $9 each. Brigantine, $9.50. Construct and Revivalist at $10 each. So if you don't like Tiger of Malay, it's very congested otherwise. Mark Shean, do you like Tiger of Malay?
Yeah, well, look, I think he'd be hard to beat, but it's probably short enough, 260, but he does have the class. I know he's giving a lot of weight to his rivals here, but Palele was able to do something similar last week. I suppose that Brisbane form actually does look quite good now with Converge and those sort of horses, Port Louis. So, look, I thought Coast Watch was a bit of value. Didn't have anything go his way first up. He was trapped in a very bad spot, got flushed out very early when he couldn't get in on the first turn, and he was still there at the 200. So with a kind of run in transit, I'm going to throw something on it around the 850 mark. But definitely think Tiger of Malay is the danger. Subterranean, I don't like it. He was very fat first up, gross type, so last time in. So I would think he would need a couple of runs to hit his peak.
Okay, that's a good point there. Mark Rhoden, your thoughts here in the up-and-coming?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind backing Tiger of Malay. I think he's the best horse in the race, but I'd want a bigger price. I'd want $3-ish, I think. And by race 8, I'd want to be sure that barrier 1 wasn't going to be a negative. Mark touched on that in his preamble, that it can be a bit down the middle there sometimes. He's not going to be leading, but if he's going to be midfield fence, even with Jay McDonald on, I'd want to know that that wasn't a complete no-go before I was backing him at a short price. I think he's the clear top pick, but yeah, 260s. About right. Coast Watch was finally my second pick in the race too. Thought it was a good effort after the wide trip last time, but I do have beyond it the rest of them in a bunch. Concocted's an improver. Revivalist had every chance last start, but did make improvement. Construct, I was quite taken with its win here at Kembla at a restricted meeting last time, but I don't like the jockey change at all, to be honest. Then out to Brigantine, Subterranean. But Tiger of Malay clearly on top, not a bet at this stage, but one to monitor.
Okay. Race 9 is a benchmark 78 over 1,400 metres for the fillies and mares. Stella Pauline is your favourite at $4.80 from Bring the Ransom and Steel Diamond at $5.50 each. Rock My Wand at $7. Has to Be Good, $8. Glorious Dream, $9. And upwards there for the rest. Mark Shean, any thoughts here?
Tricky race, can't see a lot of speed. I think Stella Pauline will probably roll forward early. I think J-Max picked up the ride here with Tom Sherry not riding because of the lockdown. So I think that's a riding change unless I've mucked that up. Look, I'm not a race I'm overly fussed on. I thought Rock My Ron went okay the other day and will be better at 1,400 metres. She's got good form at that trip. And I thought Bring the Ransom was probably a bridge too far going to 1,800 last time out. Even 1,600 when she was run down was probably far enough for her. So I think coming back to 1,400 metres is certainly a big advantage and Bowman on. So 7 from 1 for me. I think Stella Paulina would get all favours with the pace, but I've just got a slight query on her at the trip.
Yep. Mark Rhoden, the Bjorn Baker stable's been one that you've been not necessarily following, but pointing out that they've been running red hot. Is that still the case over the last few weeks?
Just probably not as dynamite as they were a couple of weeks ago, but still would not be scared of backing that stable at all. Obviously, very well-run yard, place their horses well, and they've got results over the recent months. Yeah, I thought, my original thought, I've just had to check this myself, Mark's quite right, Joe McDonald has picked up the ride on Stella Pauline. I thought it was too short. Originally, I didn't have it favourite. I'm going to have to reassess that with McDonald on, because it is, with no disrespect to T. Sherry, that is a significant positive in my book, him going on. And as Mark said as well, it does have a good map. The one I wanted to be on before rethinking this race, I think it'll still be a bet anyway, is number 1, Bring the Ransom, back from 1800 back to 1400. Last time it ran at 1400, it was a pretty dashing winner at a midweek Kenzo meeting. Does tend to get back a bit, which may be an issue, but Hugh Bowman's riding very well. Seems pretty hungry to set himself up for the carnival, so we'll just leave it up to him. I think the price is okay, $5.50. And I thought Rock My One was good last time too, and I had it second. I originally had Stella Pauline third. I'm going to have to just rejig this market a bit, whether it gets promoted now, I'm not sure. And yeah, then we're out to the likes of Steel Diamond. So it's, this is not the strongest mare's 78 I've ever seen. I think Bring the Ransom with the right run is good enough to win it.
Okay, so that's the fillies and mares version. We'll head to the final race in the card, race 10, which is for the Colts and Geldings over the same trip. 1,400 metres. Pale King is favourite at $5 from Blondo, $6.50. Ashman and Rule the World at $8 each. Olympic Legend, $9. Snitzify at $10. Courtier at $11. Just keeps drifting out from there for the rest of the market. Mark Shean looks pretty open. Any thoughts here in the last?
Yeah, I think it's a hard race. I couldn't come at the 440 Pale King. I backed it when it won at Kembla and absolutely fell in, and then I think it fell in Melbourne as well. Look, it's won 3 out of its last 4, but it doesn't strike me as our 1,400 metre type. Tough race. I might be going back too far, but I thought Rule the World had some good old form and thought it was a good run first up. Very negative ride, went back to last. Don't think it'll be back there on Saturday. Has got barrier number 1, so just have to assess if the fence is any good. But around the $8 mark, I thought it might be a play each way. Bowman stuck with it. He rode it first up and sticks with it. So he must have been satisfied that it was a decent sort of run. And I thought Olympic Legend could race handy and was in the mix as well. But pretty tough race, but I'm going to bet around the favourite.
Okay. Mark Rhoden, any thoughts here in the last?
I think it's very hard. I think it's very, very open. Betting suggests that. And I concur with Mark. I haven't got Pale King anywhere near favourite, to be honest. I'd only be betting small in this race. I was on Catapult, who was pretty well backed early last time, but never got into the race when Hugh Bowman rode it. Midway, I think it was. Look, he'd need to find his best. He had a couple of good wins last prep on dry tracks, so I'm at 20 to 1 plus. I'll go to the well once more, but not for a huge stake, I can assure you of that. And the other one I thought was a bit of value was Charatera, who's honest, always runs well in these sort of races. Doesn't win very often, of course, but he's in that similar price range. He's sort of $19 everywhere, so they'd be just specs, and they could run second last and last. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that happened. It's that kind of race. I actually thought if leaders were running well, Ashman could give a side again. I had Rule the World actually second pick in my market, but $8 isn't a huge over that I've got it that open.
Yep.
Mondo, who got everything to suit last time, different setup here. I wouldn't take $6.50, but I suppose it's some sort of chance. And yes, there's a host of others. But look, for something to do, small specs on 9 and 12.
Okay. That brings us to the end. I'll get your best plays, whether they be best bets, best value bets, and or best lays for that matter. Mark Shean, I'll start with yourself.
My best came out, Mr. Moser. It's going to Melbourne, so I've had to look further afield. I thought in race 5, Bowery Breeze had a chance. Look, it is probably a bit better when it is on the wet, but it's a couple of runs early in its prep last time in were fantastic runs after missing the start. I thought from barrier number 1, it will get a decent run here. Looks to be a lot of speed in this race with Prince Invincible, so they should string out. So I thought she was a bit of value. And I thought Mayfair Spirit in race number 6 was a terrific run at sale last time out. It was 4 wide all the way. First start in Australia, and again represented a bit of value. So a very tough day in my opinion, but I'm going to have something on those two.
Okay, sounds good.
Barry Breeze's trial location that win too, didn't it?
Barry Breeze trialled at Warwick Farm the other morning. Yeah, ran second in a pretty strong heat.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Mark Rhoden, any plays at this stage?
Well, look, I can't make all-time legend my lay of the day. Rob will never speak to me again. So we'll just stay neutral on him for the time being. I like in the Premier's Cup prelude, small field, Criminal Code, who I think has been going really well. I backed it last time, which was a bit optimistic because it did map poorly and it just never got into the race. But obviously, in a field of only 6, won't be giving away anywhere near that much start. And with 52 kilos, I think is pretty nicely placed in this. I think the favourite Ziegfeld is clearly the one to beat, although it is sort of a bit unknown at 2,000, but it'll be on pace with McDonald on and the one to get past. But I do give Criminal Code a good chance of turning it over with the weight pool.
Do you think you get a soft lead there, Ziegfeld? Do you think you'd go the front or Sky Max?
Oh, no, I thought at 2,000 Ziegfeld would probably lead and Sky Max would probably take a trial. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much to you both. We'll catch up next week, and we might even start reviewing some of these meetings in the coming week or two. So we're not too far away. Obviously, some of these good horses are returning, so it'd be great to get your thoughts and digest the weekend as it is. So we'll catch up next week on Victims of the Punt. Until then, guys, go well.
Thank you, Pete.
Thanks a lot, Pete. Thanks, mate.